4:38 Tuesday morning, and guess what? I'm thinking, as usual. Woke up over an hour ago. Why? Sheena Morris here. Jacqueline Renee Saunders. Angel Siler. Molly Young. Michelle O'Connell. And Kayla Skeen here on the bottom. Every one of these young ladies were murdered. Murdered. Take a look at them. Did they look like criminals to you? Do they look like the kind of people that deserve to be dead? Do they look like the kind of people that go out and cause trouble looking to be murdered? Absolutely not. Any one of those could be any one of your daughters, your girlfriend, cousin or niece, any one of them. And yet they're all dead and buried, alone, away from you. And their murderer is out running around because police were too inept or too corrupt or just didn't care enough to investigate their scenes properly and put a killer behind bars where he belonged. I've worked so many crime scenes, I don't even want to remember them all. But I'm going to share one with you right now. So when some prosecutor or some cop tries to tell me that these young ladies' scenes were not staged, all I want to say to them is you're too stupid to see where they were staged. I worked on a case of an 8-year-old boy that was murdered. He was beaten to death over a period of approximately 8 to 10 days based on the bruising on his body. He was placed on the kitchen floor of the family home where he resided with his mother and her boyfriend and 3 other children, some half-children of the mother and the boyfriend. This was not your American Pie home, to say the least. The little boy had just returned back to his mother after being in the care of her mother for about 3 months. But the wonderful Department of Children and Families in the state of Florida, who's also too stupid to understand the dangers of putting a child into an abusive home. This child was dead. Make a long story short, his mother called 911 early in the morning, claiming his son was not breathing and she was trying to give him CPR. By the time the ambulance arrived and the police arrived, of course he was dead. He had been dead for hours. Hours long before she made that phone call. Because her and her boyfriend were too busy cleaning up the house, hiding the illegal drugs, and trying to hide all the evidence that supported the murder. I wasn't buying any of it when I got there, because when I got there and I took one look at that little boy's body on the floor, and I started looking at the bruises I could see on his body, I knew right off what happened. I said, the kid had a beating, and this kid had a beating that was so severe and lasted so long, it resulted in his death. But I wasn't being the last person to make that call. That was up to the medical examiner. But I processed that scene. That little boy remained in that house with me for 14 hours. While I methodically photographed, measured every bruise on his body and every mark. And then proceeded to process that house. And then attend every one of his autopsies, which there were 3. 3 days total between his autopsies and processing that crime scene. It was a staged scene, just like all these young ladies' scenes were staged. Murders to look like suicides. So when some cop and a prosecutor sits there in front of a family member and tries to give you some story that the scene wasn't staged or that the boyfriend couldn't have done it, there's no way someone can have staged a scene, I say baloney. They're full of garbage. They're too stupid to have their job, or they're too corrupt. Because if a mother can kill her own flesh and blood and then stage the crime scene and try to play out this whole act, Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. So every one of these young ladies, who I know pretty intimately the scenes from what I've been able to get, and understand that I also know what the police did not do, tells me very, very clearly that the probability of their cases being murders are 100%. The police in these areas, Carbondale, Illinois, Clay County, Florida, St. Augustine, Florida, Braden Beach, Florida, Chesapeake, Virginia, it's disgusting. And it needs to stop. We want to get justice for you and your families. And we also want the police to start doing their job the way they're supposed to do it. And that's going to come from all of us banding together. Remember that. If a mother can kill her own flesh and blood and stage the crime scene, don't sit there and let somebody tell you that your child's scene was not staged.